Good morning, this is Ashley. I'm not sure what you're going through today. I'm not sure what has brought you to my channel. I said early on when I started it that I was going through a very rough season. I had gone through the worst moment of my life, and I just started to record on here just to even know I still had a voice. So I don't know what's brought you here today, but I do want to say how faithful God is. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever said or heard somebody say, well, I guess all we can do is pray, implying that prayer is the last resort? I just want to challenge that thought because prayer itself is the work. And there's a great example of that in Colossians chapter 4. Paul is with his companion Epaphras, and he's writing to the church in Colossae, and he says, Epaphras is always wrestling in prayer for you, that you may stand firm in all the will of God, mature and fully assured. And it's that phrase, always wrestling in prayer, that's pretty fascinating. The Greek word used there is agonizomai, where we get our word agony. And the picture, I looked it up in Strong's, it's pretty fascinating. It's a struggle or a competition for a prize. It's to contend with adversaries, and it's to fight and labor fervently and strive. Interestingly, it's the same word used. I love this verse in the very first chapter of Colossians, because I just think the implications for the Christian life are incredible. Colossians 1:29. To this end I labor, struggling with all his energy, God's energy, which so powerfully works in me. It's sort of a paradoxical statement. I labor, and it's that agonizomai word. So to this end I work so hard with the energy of God who's working in me. And I love that. There's help when we pray. Romans talks about how the Spirit helps us pray. When in our weakness we don't know how to pray, the Spirit himself intercedes with groans too deep for words. So a call to intercessory prayer, and maybe you are wrestling in prayer for something right now, either for God to move in your situation or on behalf of somebody else, and it just feels so difficult. You're not alone. Your friend Epaphras, he was in agony as he prayed and interceded for people. Jesus was in agony in Gethsemane as he prayed for us and prayed that if it was God's will that cup could be taken from him. Daniel, I think it's chapter 10, talks about how he prayed, and 21 days later he had an angelic messenger who talked about the warfare of being detained by the Prince of Persia, and then Michael helped. It's a crazy verse, but it shows how when the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective, but there are real forces and oppositions at work against when we pray. That picture, that agonizomai, it's the picture of an arena, almost like a gladiator. You know, this was a time when that would have been normal. But it's to compete for that prize as in an arena, but it's a spirit-powered exertion. Paul described in Galatians being in the pains of childbirth until Christ was formed with the Galatians. And any of you who have given birth, you know that feeling. It's agony, but you forget the agony when you have that baby in your arms. And it's agony that's not for no reason. It's agony with something wonderful in sight, the prize. You know, as I've mentioned, I love bushwhacking to waterfalls, and it can be a type of agony. It was last weekend. We went to one, and you had to climb up this rope, and I've got a bad knee, and you had to inch along this ledge, and oh, it was agony. But to come around the corner and see that 80-foot wall of unknown water, it was the prize. So today I just want to say, don't give up. Jesus said we should always pray and not give up. And if you do feel a sense of opposition as you try to pray, and that opposition could even be your grocery list keeps popping into your mind, or the desire to pick up your phone and scroll through social media, know that that's common, but it is opposition, because your prayers are powerful and effective. And so the opposition is to try to get you to not do it. The verse, I'll pull a little verse out of the jar today. This is for somebody who is feeling anxious. But when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Psalm 56:3. So if you are feeling afraid right now, go to the Lord in prayer. Agonize if you have to. Keep pushing forward, because He hears you, and in His time, He will answer, and you will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.